Hello everyone, welcome to the semi-finals of Grand Prix Orlando. Rich Hagan in the booth alongside Hall of Famer Luis Scott Vargas. On the left, Chris Pecula. On the right, Joel Larsson of Sweden. Let's get to the magic action. We are underway. A land on either side of the table. It's a mountain for Chris Pecula. Let's see the top-down view of the battlefield, and it's Skyship Plunderer to get us going for Joe Larson.
and Joel played that Plunderer with the implicit question, you got the shock. He like held it up. Chris did not shock at end of turn, which Joel will, I think, safely assume that Chris did not, in fact, have the shock.
Right, here's Druid of the Cowl to accelerate mana for Chris Pecula. The Plunderer gets in for 2, and so what's better than one Plunderer? Another one. Do we have Chandra's Pyrohelix?
No, but he might have a Furious Reprisal.
Oh, wow.
Boom.
Oh, that's sore. Wow.
That will swing the game dramatically, because if Chris didn't have that, the 2 Skyship Plunderers would easily take the game home for Joel, but Furious Reprisal is going to make him rely on, maybe just that Hinterland Drake over there.
Yeah, so 2-3. Can't block artifacts, but no matter at the moment.
So Chris attacking with Druid of the Cowl is kind of interesting there, because Joel could block, but the players do have deckless, and if Joel chooses to respect a combat trick, it's going to be influenced by the decklist that they saw before the match.
Yeah, now just to confirm, that's a pool list, not actually a deck list, I believe. I don't believe they see the full finished article. If you're seeing a slight change in the lighting conditions, that's because, well, they're locking up the convention center here, and the vast majority of the lights have just gone out. We can just about see by torchlight. Turn the phone on just to brighten the screen a little bit, Luis. And yes, the lights did just kind of go out. Not quite completely, but they're working on it. Okay.
Well, lighting or not, Emerald Bruiser and Hinterland Drake are still going to outrace Chris despite the Furious Reprisal. So Joel's mounting a good second wave of attackers here, but this game would have been very easy if you had those 2 Skyship Plunderers.
Right, and he's trying to leave Pecula in the dust here, in a very literal sense, because here's Bruiser and Drake coming in again. That's 5 points of damage. We're going to start being a little bit quieter over here because, as you can probably tell, there's some echoing in the background. There are so few people left in here that basically the feature match area can start to hear what we're saying. So obviously we don't want to give away anything about cards in hand and so on. So we'll be nice and quiet as we see Bastion Inventor come down for Yoel, and Pecula is very rapidly down to 4. And has kind of been flooded out here because 8 land, Luis, is at least 3 more than you really want.
Yeah, both players are actually pretty flooded here, but Joel is dealing with it a little bit better just because his spells have been a little more high impact, and he's got more of them. Chris has played 3 cards that game. He played 3 cards in 8 land, and despite the 2-for-1 on Furious Reprisal, wasn't able to convert.
No, and so there you can probably just about pick out Joe Larson on the right-hand side of your screen, and on the left, Chris Pecula, who is now 1 down and once again facing elimination. So we'll be right back 90 seconds from now. Don't go anywhere. Hi, those of you who are there. Hi. It's time for game number 2 in the semi-finals, and if we can just get the life bar updated there to indicate that it is 1-0 to Joel Larsson of Sweden, because that is the score. They go back to 20. Meanwhile, Noah Walker and Zeal Yao, the 16-year-old, those two are still in game 1, which is not a big surprise because, boy, our game 1 was fast. So here we go, Luis. How does Chris Pekula dig himself out of this one?
Basically, what Chris needs to do is do what he did last game, except instead of the turn 3 Furious Reprisal followed by the turn 4 nothing, play something like a Lifecraft Cavalry on turn 4.
Or a Pima Outrider as a 4/4 trampler.
Yeah, any sort of like larger
threat.
creature.
Right. Well, the first action, both belong to Yoel. It's Renegade Map followed by Doomed Operative, which is a 3/2 Death Touch.
So this is a great draw for Yoel, and the reason why is he had Renegade Map on turn 1. Yoel's deck is very good. We actually saw him draft, you and I. And the one criticism I had with the deck was he needed more cheap artifacts to power up his Doomed Operatives and his improvised cards. But having that Renegade Map means he's on the table with the cheap artifact he needs, and that just makes the rest of his deck that much better.
Oh, and let there be light. Now, this time, the Furious Reprisal actually did even less. It killed off the Doomed Operative, which is fine.
What if it's still a reprisal, but not like Furious? It's just like a medium reprisal?
A mildly reproving reprisal?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Okay. Larsson then has the early game, but now maybe things change because his 5 mana, well, it's self-assembler, so it will indeed go and assemble itself, or its self-mate. There we are, number 2. I believe Chris has exactly 2.
Yeah, and he doesn't unfortunately have a Cogwork assembler, which is also another target assembly worker for the construct.
Mm-hmm. So that is now going to be matched by a 4/4 for Larsson in the form of Bastion Inventor. Pekula, unsurprisingly, will just run out self-assembler number 2. Well, or not. Okay, what are the alternatives?
Well, he might be deciding whether he wants to attack first here and potentially set up something like Lifecraft Cavalry.
So Lifecraft Cavalry 4/4, but with Revolt 6/6. Ta-da! Show off. That's very good. 6/6, and Jarl just lays another land, and he's going to reach out with Daring Demolition.
So you're less likely to make that trade into Lifecraft Cavalry without having Daring Demolition in hand. I think that if he didn't have that Daring Demolition in hand, he would be less inclined to make that trade.
So he sees it coming, and of course he sees this 1-turn delayed self-assembler coming as well.
Self-assembler really shining in this game. This is an attrition-based game. This isn't a particularly fast game, and having just a 4/4 that draws another 4/4, that might just be good enough because Chris does not need a whole lot more, given that he's not under any pressure.
No, and that Scrounging Bandar may not be that long for this world, I wonder. Let's see what he does here. No, is he going to just leave it there?
He doesn't need the self-assembler to be much bigger. He could actually move 1 counter, and then it won't die in combat.
Right.
And one reason to keep the Bandar around as a 1/1 is that it enables a Lifecraft Cavalry that Chris could draw later.
So, in we come for 5.
And Yoel gets 1 activation at Yenjit Sentry here, and one reason not to use it yet is he would like to get more energy with that Skyship Plunder.
Like in game 1, leave in the dust.
And Yoel deciding
Larsson.
he wants to sack Renegade Map in response to thin out his deck, which at this point makes sense because he doesn't need it to improvise, and he only has 1 Doomed Operative left, so the upside of getting a land out of his deck is a little higher.
Okay.
Each Skyship Plunder hit represents a half an activation of Yenjit Sentry, but I think Yoel might have found his second Skyship Plunder, in which case he turns Yenjit Sentry into just a full-on Icy Manipulator.
For those who don't know, Icy Manipulator, quite good.
Well, it's essentially the old-school pacification array.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Master Decoy, can I throw out a few more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Benalish Trapper.
Gideon's Lawmaker.
Yeah. Well, Lawkeeper.
Wow.
You know, technically correct is the best kind of correct.
Oh, I hate you. Oh. All right, Frontline Rebel and Scrounging Bandar with 1 counter on. And Pekula doing some sums here because Augmenting Automaton is a very, very mana-hungry beast. Not that it's a beast, but you get the idea. 7 mana, 8 mana available. so that can get very big very fast.
And Yol tapping it this turn with the Sentry, the reason he wants to do that this turn is next turn the Augmenting Automaton can get large enough to just eat the frontline Rebel for free, and that'll just put Yol up a card. And in fact, this is where Augmenting Automaton really shines. It's an improvised enabler, but this is where it makes up for the fact that, yeah, it's just a 1-drop, but look, it's a playing as a 5/5 this late in the game.
Right.
And Yol's happy to let Chris attack here.
Yeah, I'm just going to count up that you have not only 8 mana, but 4 black mana. He does. Indeed, he has 9 mana.
So Chris thinking now whether he wants to send in both of his 4/4s to get 4 damage through. The drawback to that is Yol can block the self-assembler, and then next turn Frontline Rebel still has to attack, and then it gets eaten. So Chris is just delaying the inevitable if he does that.
So Yol just working through his pairings of Swamp plus X.
No precise strike for Chris. The one time, it failed him. He needed it more than any other time.
All right, so here's Ether Chaser. Energy goes to 2. But Yol, largely on the back of having so many lads, he's drawn Gearseeker Serpent.
Yeah, so
that looks super good.
I think that actually might spell the end for Chris. He has so few ways to kill a Gearseeker Serpent because he's red-green. He doesn't have anything big enough to prey upon.
Another Skyship Plunderer, Chris Bakula down to 9. He's in big trouble here. Oh my.
Chris had a fantastic run this tournament, qualified for the Pro Tour again. It's going to be awesome to see him there, but I think that run is ending now.
And there we go. THENDFORCHRIS. It did spell the end for Chris Luis. That is Pecula done. Yol Larson advances to the final of Grand Prix Orlando 2017. Who will he face? Will it be Noah Walker, or will it be the 16-year-old sensation Zeal Yao? We'll find out